Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Welcome guys to your channel Mathematics Warehouse. Today we have a very special video. Today we would make a quick check on some lessons that are in the material covered of the first semester math exam. Let us start. First question: what is the order of the pair for the point A? As we know, any point on the coordinate plane can be represented by the coordinate x and y, such that the first component x comes from the horizontal axis and second component y comes from vertical axis. So now, as you notice, the point A located here, its x coordinate is -1.5 and y coordinate is 2.5. So point A is -1.5 and 2.5, or we can say a point A is -1.5 and 2.5. Next question: which point is located at the coordinates -1.25 and 1 on the grid below? First, this from x-axis as we said, and this one from y-axis. So go in x-axis -1 and 1/4, this point, and in y-axis 1, so we have this point is A. The answer is point A. Next question: what are the coordinates for the point X? Again, the same. For X we have here half, in Y we have -1.5. So the point X has the coordinates have a -1.5, or we can say 0.5 and -1.5. Next question: what are the coordinates of point P on the grid below? Here, as you notice, in X it's 1.5, in Y it's -3/4, or we can say it's 1.5 and -0.75. Lesson 4.3: distance on the coordinate plane. To determine the distance between 2 points, we have just one of two cases: the change in x coordinate only or change in y coordinate only. If they have the same sign, we would subtract their absolutes. If they have different sign, we would add their absolutes. What is the distance between the bank and Marley's house on the map? Here, you can count number of units, but instead of this, we want to determine the distance using the coordinates of each of 2 points. As we said, to determine the distance between 2 points, we have one of 2 cases. First case, to have x and y1 and x and y2 that change vertically. So we would work on the y coordinate, or the change horizontally, like x1 and y and x2 and y. If they have the same sign, we would subtract their absolutes. If they have different sign, we would add their absolutes. Let us see. Example. Here he wants to determine the distance between the bank and Marley's house. As you notice, the bank is at -8 and 6, and the house is at 3 and 6. Here the change on x coordinate, the change in x coordinate, because the change here horizontally. So we would work on x coordinate. We have -8 and 3. They have different sign. So we're gonna add their absolutes. So the distance equal absolute of -8 plus absolute of 3 which is 8 plus 3 equals 11 units. And this is the answer. Next question. Find the distance between the pair of points -3 and -6 and -3 and 1. Here the change in y coordinate. So we're gonna work on -6 and 1, which have different sign. So we're gonna add their absolutes. So the distance equals absolute value of -6 plus absolute value of 1, which is 6 plus 1 equals 7 units. Next question. The map shows the beach area on a coordinate plane. Find the distance from the car to the cabana and then from the cabana to the beach. Here the car is located on -4 and 4, as you notice, and cabana is on -4 and 1, and the beach is 2 and 1. So now distance between the car and the cabana, here the x coordinate is the same, so different in y coordinate, they have the same sign, so we're gonna subtract. So distance between the car and the cabana is absolute value of 4 minus absolute value of 1. We're gonna subtract because they have the same sign. So it's 4 minus 1, which is 3 units. Even if you count here 1, 2, 3 units. Now the distance between the cabana and the beach, they have the same y coordinate 1, but the different in x coordinate because here they different horizontally. -4 and 2, they have different sign, so we're gonna add their absolutes. So it's absolute value of -4 plus absolute value of 2, which is 4 plus 2 equals 6 units. Next question. Lesson 4.4. Polygons on the coordinate plane. What is the perimeter of rectangle JKLM with vertices J -1 and 3, K2 and 3, L2 and -5, and M -1 and -5? As we said before, the perimeter of any polygon is the sum of lengths of all of its sides. To find the perimeter of a rectangle equals 2 lengths plus 2 widths. Here imagine this rectangle takes this shape JKLM. So we have to find the length of JK and KL, for example. To find the length of JK, as you notice here, J is -1 and 3, K is 2 and 3. They have the same y coordinate. It change only in horizontal coordinate, -1 and 2. They have different sign, so we're gonna add their absolutes. So JK, length of JK equals absolute value of -1 plus absolute value of 2, which is 1 plus 2 equals 3 units. And for KL, K is 2 and 3, L is 2 and -5. They have the same horizontal coordinate x. The change in y coordinate, 3 and -5 have different signs. 3 and -5 have different sign, so we're gonna add their absolutes. So it's absolute value of 3 plus absolute value of -5 equals 3 plus 5 equals 8 units. So now the perimeter equals 2 of 8 plus 2 of 3, which is 16 plus 6 equals 22 units. And this is the answer, 22 units. Next question, find the perimeter of this figure. As we know, the perimeter of the polygon is the sum of all of its side lengths. So now we have to find the length of each side in this polygon. Here for first one, we have negative 7 and 3, 8 and 3. They have the same y coordinate, different only in x coordinate, and they have different sign. So it's absolute value of negative 7 plus absolute value of 8, which is 7 plus 8 equals 15. For this one, we have the change in y coordinate, so they have different sign. So we're gonna add absolute value of 3 plus absolute value of negative 8, which is 3 plus 8 equals 11 units. And here we have the change in x coordinate, but they have the same sign, so we're gonna subtract. So absolute value of 8 minus absolute value of 2, which is 6. And this side we have the change in y coordinate, and both of them have the same sign, so we're gonna subtract their absolutes. So absolute value of negative 8 minus absolute value of negative 1, which is 8 minus 1, which is 7. And here we have the change in x coordinate. They have different sign, so we're gonna add their absolutes. Absolute value of negative 7 plus absolute value of 2, which is 7 plus 2 equals 9. For this side, we have the change in y coordinate, and they have different absolutes and they have different sign, so we're gonna add their absolutes. So absolute value of 3 plus absolute value of negative 1, which is 4. Now the perimeter, as we said, is the sum of all sides. So the perimeter equals 15 plus 11 plus 6 plus 7 plus 9 plus 4, which equals 52 units. Next question. The coordinates of the triangle ABC are A, negative 2.5 and 1.5, B, negative 2.5 and negative 3, C, 3 and 2. What is the distance between points A and B? Both of points A and B have the same x coordinate, so we'd work on y coordinate, which have different signs, so we're gonna add their absolutes. So the distance AB now equals absolute value of 1.5 plus absolute value of negative 3, which is 1.5 plus 3 equals 4.5, or we can say 4.5. Next lesson about patterns and equations. As we know, any pattern is increasing or decreasing. If it's increasing, it may be addition or multiplication. If it's decreasing, it may be the rule subtraction or division. Sometimes we have two operations at the same time at the rule. For first question, write the rule to fit the pattern for this table. If you notice the relation between A and B, when A equals 0, B equals 0. When A equals 1, B equals 5. Maybe if A equals 1 and B equals 5, we add 4, but it doesn't work here. So maybe we multiply it by 5. Let us check here. Is 2 times 5 equals 10? Yes, so it works. 3 times 5 equals 15, and 4 times 5 equals 20. So now we are sure that B equals 5A. Or we can say A equals B divided by 5. Next question. Ahmed has a total of 60 adventure cards 4 again. The table shows the number of cards C distributed to P players. What is the equation which describes the pattern in the table? When P equals 2, C equals 30. When P equals 3, C equals 20. When P equals 4, C equals 15. If you notice here, he has a total of 60 cards. When they are only 2 persons, each one take 30. When they are 3 persons, each one take 20. And when they are 4, each one take 15. So they are dividing 60 among these people, number of people. So we can say number of cards equals 60 divided by P. Or we can say also P equals 60 divided by C. Okay, so the answer C equals 60 divided by P. Next question. The table shows the total cost C for the number of box lunches purchased B. Use the pattern in the table to find the cost of 6 box lunches. As we said, when the number increased, it may be multiplied or addition. Here, if we say 3, now it's 23.25, so we add 20.25. If you add 20.25 to 9, it would be 29.25, and this not the same answer. So it may be multiplied. To know the number we multiplied by, we have to divide this number by this number. So now divide 23.25 by 3. 23 divided by 3 equals 7. 7 times 3 is 21. Subtract equals 2. The point up and 2 down. Now you have 22 divided by 3 equals 7. 7 times 3 equals 21. Subtract equals 1. And bring down 5. Now 15 divided by 3 equals 5. 5 times 3 equals 15. So the number is 7.75. To make sure, let us divide this number by 9. 69.75 divided by 9. 69 divided by 9 equals 7. 7 times 9 equals 63. Subtract equals 6. This point up and 7 down. So now it's 67 divided by 9 equals 7. 7 times 9 equals 63. Subtract equals 4. Bring down 5. Now 45 divided by 9 equals 5. 5 times 9 equals 45. So the answer is the same, 7.75. So the rule is C equals 7.75B. To find the missed number here, we have to multiply by 6. So this number equals 6 multiplied 7.75, which is 46.5. And this is the answer. Next lesson, more patterns and equations. Use the equation for the table to determine the missed numbers. Y equals 3x plus 2. Substitute for x equals 3, so now it's 3 times 3 equals 9 plus 2 equals 11. And 4 times 3 equals 12 plus 2 equals 14. Next question, write the equation that represents the data in the table. 1 and 9. Maybe it's multiplied by 9. Maybe we add 8. If you multiply 2 times 9 equals 18, and this doesn't work. If you add 2 plus 8 equals 10, and this also doesn't work. So now we have two operations. 2 to be 13. Let us try 2 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4. Plus what equals 13 plus 9. So we multiply by 2, then add 9. Let us try this with 3. 3 times 2 is 6. 6 plus 9 is 15, not 17. So it doesn't work. So let us multiply 2 by 3. 2 times 3 equals 6. Plus what equals 13 plus 7. So multiply by 3, then add 7. Multiply 3 times 3 equals 9. And 9 plus 7 equals 16. It's not 17. So it doesn't work. So let us multiply by 4. 2 times 4 equals 8 plus what equals 13 plus 5. So now we are multiplying by 4, then add 5. Let us try this by 3. 3 times 4 equals 12. 12 plus 5 equals 17. It works. Try it by 4. 4 times 4 equals 16. 16 plus 5 equals 21. It works. Try it by 5. 4 times 5 equals 20. And 20 plus 5 equals 25. So this is the right rule. Y equals 4x plus 5. We multiply by 4 first, then add 5. Next question. A picture frame is 1.5 inches wider than the picture it holds. Let F width of the frame and P width of the picture. Complete the table. When we substitute for P equals 1, so it would be 1 plus 1.5, which is 2.5. When substitute for P equals 2, so it's 2 plus 1.5, which is 3.5. When we substitute for P equals 3, so it's 3 plus 1.5, which is 4.5. Next question. The points 3 and 9 and negative 3 and 9 are plotted on the coordinate plane using the equation y equal ax. What is the value of a? Without using a table or graph, identify 3 other points a graph of this equation will pass through. If you notice here the relation between x and y equals 3 of x. Y equals 3 of x. So comparing this equation with that one, so we're gonna say a equals 3. Now we can write more than 3 points. Just put x any number and multiply it by 3 to get the y coordinate. For example, 2 and 6, 1 and 3, 5 and 15, and even negative 1 and negative 3, and 0 and 0, and so. Next question. Which equation represents this graph? Look at this graph. This point is 4 and 2, and this point is 6 and 3. So the relation here that the y is half of x. So y equal x divided by 2. Next question. Which equation represents the graph on the right? Look at this graph. This point is 1 and 2. This point is 2 and 4. This point is 3 and 6. The y is 2 of x. So the answer is C. Y equal 2 of x. Next question. What is the quotient of 5,647 divided by 48? Let us try to divide this one. 5647 divided 48. 56 divided 48 equals 1. 1 times 48 equals 48. Subtract equals 8. Bring down 4. Now 84 divided 48 equals 1. 1 times 48 equals 48. Subtract equal here 6, here 3. 36. Now bring down 7. 367 divided 48, it's about 7. 7 times 48, 7 times 8 equal 56, 6 and get a 5, 7 times 4 equals 28 plus 5 equal 33. Subtract equals 31. So the remainder is 31. So we can say the answer is 117, remainder 31. Next question. Mariam wants to go to a summer camp that costs $1,772. She has saved $300 already and works at a clinic where she earns $15 an hour. How many hours will she have to work to earn enough money to go to the camp? First, we need to deduct what she already have. 1,772 minus 300 equals 1,472. Now let us divide 1,472 by 15. Divided 15. 1472 divided by 15. 14 divided 15 cannot be. We'll take 147 divided by 15. It's about 9. 9 times 15 equals 135. Subtract, it's 12. Bring it down 2. Now 122 divided by 15 equals 8. 8 times 15 equals 120. So the remainder 2. So it's 98, remainder 2. So we can say she has to work 99 hours to save the rest of the money. Next question. A book club has 18 members. In 1 week, the book club read a total of 5,778 pages. If each member read the same number of pages, how many pages did each member read? So we have to divide 5,778 by 18. 57 divided by 18 is about 3. 3 times 8 equals 24. 4 and up 2. 3 times 1 equals 3 plus 2 equals 5. Subtract equals 3. Bring it down 7. Now it's 37 divided by 18 is about 2. 36. Subtract equal 1 and you have 8. So 18 divided by 18 equals 1. So the answer 321 pages. Ali solves the problem 1282 divided by 14. He says the solution is 9 remainder 2. Is he right? 1282 divided by 14. 12 divided by 14 cannot be because it's smaller than 14. So take 128 divided by 14. It's about 9. 9 times 4 equals 36. 6 and get up 3. 9 times 1 equals 9 plus 3 equals 12. Subtract equals 2. Bring it down 2. Now 22 divided by 14 equals 1. 1 times 14 is 14. Subtract equals 8. So the answer is 91 remainder 8. So we can say no, his answer is wrong. Next question. Find the sum 8.1 plus 2.53. In adding and subtracting decimals, we have to put the decimal points under each other's. 8.1, and here start with point. Here we have 53. Here we have 2. The empty place here, it means we have 0. Now 0 plus 3 equals 3. 1 plus 5 is 6. Point down, and 8 plus 2 is 10. So the answer is 10.63. Next question. Sarah ordered a volleyball for $9.75, a net for $29.99, and a knee pads for $15. Sarah's mother said that she would pay for the order of her credit card if Sarah gave her the money. Sarah gave her mother $40. Her mother also applied the money that she owed Sarah for babysitting. Sarah's mother then gave her back $5.26. How much did Sarah's mother owe her for babysitting? So first we need to calculate the total cost, which is 9.75 plus 29.99 plus 15. So the cost equals 9.75 plus 29.99 plus 15 equals 54 54.74. Now we need to know how much did Sarah's mother owe her for babysitting. So we need to subtract what Sarah gave her and the change. So 54.74 minus 40 minus 5.26 equals what? We can say 54.74 minus 45.26, which is 9.48, and this is the answer. Next question. On a backpacking trip, Ahmad hiked 13.2 miles the first day and 16.7 miles the second day. What is the total distance he hiked? So we need to add 13.2 plus 16.7, which is 29.9 miles. Find the product 2.4 times 0.87. So let us multiply 24 times 87. First, 7 times 4 equals 28. It can carry up to 7 times 2 equals 14 plus 2 equals 16. Going to 8, put 0. 0 times 4 equals 32. 2 and carry up 3. 8 times 2 equals 16 plus 3 equals 19. Add. So it's 8, 8, 10. 0 and carry up 1 is 2. We have here 1 decimal place. We have here 2 decimal places. So we have 3 decimal places. So it's 2.088. Next question. It takes Mona 5.75 minutes to make one invitation to her party. How long does it take her to make 11 invitations? So we have to multiply 5.75 by 11. Now you can multiply this. 575 times 11. 1 times 5 is 5, 7, 5, and here put 0, 5, 7, 5. Now add. It's 5, 12, 2 and carry up 1, here 13 and carry up 1, 6. So equals 6,325. We have here 2 decimal places, so it's 63.25. Next question. A machine fills 48 jars each minute. If the machine runs for 36.5 minutes, how many jars will it fill? Also here we have to multiply 36.5 times 48. We can multiply 365 times 48. 8 times 5 equals 40, 0 and carry up 4. 8 times 6 equals 48 plus 4 equals 52, 2 and carry up 5. 8 times 3 equals 24 plus 5 equals 29. Going to 4, put 0. 4 times 5 is 20, 0 and carry up 2. 4 times 6 equals 24 plus 2 equals 26, 6 and carry up 2. 4 times 3 equals 12 plus 2 equals 14. So we can add now. It's 0, 2, 15, 5 and carry up 1, 7 and here 1. We have 1 decimal place, so it's 1,752, and this is the answer. Next question. Talal earns $8 an hour. How much will he earn for working 5.5 hours? So we have to multiply 55 by 8. 8 times 5 equals 40, 0 and we got 4. 8 times 5 equals 40 plus 4 equals 44. We have 1 decimal place, so it's $44. Next question. Find the quotient 104.4 divided by 4. 104.4 divided by 4. 10 divided by 4 equals 2. 2 times 4 equals 8. Subtract equals 2. Bring it down in 4. Now 24 divided by 4 equals 6. 6 times 4 equals 24. And point up, 4 down, so it's 1. So the answer is 26.1. Next question. The librarian purchased 22 copies of best-selling book for $385.66. How much did each copy of the book cost? So we have to divide 385.66 by 22. Now 38 divided 22 equals 1 times 22 equals 22. Subtract equals 16. Bring it down, next digit, it's 5. 165 divided by 22 equals about 7. 7 times 22 equals 154. Subtract here 1, here 1, point up and 6 down. So 116 divided by 22, it's about 5. 5 times 22 equals 110. Subtract equals 6. Bring it down, next digit, which is 6. Now 66 divided by 22 equals 3. So the answer is $17.53 for each book. Next question. Find the quotient. 327.6 divided by 52. 327.6 divided by 52. 32 divided 52 cannot be. So take 327 divided by 52. It's about 6. 6 times 52 equals 312. Subtract equals 15. Bring down next digit, but it's a point. Put it up and bring down 6. Now 156 divided 52 equals 3. 3 times 52 equals 156. So the answer is 6.3. Next question. The longest spin of a basketball on one finger is 255 minutes. How many hours in this? As we know, 1 hour equals 60 minutes. So we have to divide 255 by 60. Now 25 divided by 6 cannot be 255. It's about 4. 4 times 60 equals 240. Subtract equals 15. Now put point 0, the point up and 0 down. 150 divided by 60, about 2. 2 times 60 is 120. Subtract equals 30. We can put another 0, bring it down. Now 300 divided by 60 equals 5. 5 times 60 equals 300. So the answer is 4.25, which is 4 hours 15 minutes. Because it's 4.25, it means 4 and a quarter. And the quarter of hour is 15 minutes. Next question, find the quotient. We cannot divide with decimal place in divisor. So we have to multiply both by 10 or move this point one place to the right. So the new one would be 0.36 divided by 4, which is 0 divided by 4 equals 0. The point down, 3 divided by 4 cannot be, and 36 divided by 4 equals 9. So the answer is 0.09. Next question. Maha paid $12.21 for ribbon. The cost per yard was $1.48. How many yards did she get? We have to divide 12.21 by 1.48. Here we have 2 places in the divisor. Move the point 2 places. So the new problem would be 1,221 divided by 148. So we can divide this. 1221.0 divided by 148. 1,221 divided by 148 is about 8. 8 times 8 equals 64. 4 and the up 6. 8 times 4 equals 32. Plus 6 equals 38. 8 and the up 3. 4. 1 times 8 equals 8. Plus 3 equals 11. Subtract. So here 7, 3. Put the point up and 0 down. Now 370 divided by 148. About 2. 2 times 148. 296. Subtract equals 4, and here 7. Put 0, bring it down 0. Now 740 divided by 148 equals 5. 5 times 148 equals 740. So the answer is 8.25. Next question, find the quotient. So we have to move these 2 places and these 2 places, and now the new question would be 4526.5 divided by 823. By the same way, you would find the answer 5.5. Next question, find the quotient. So we have to multiply both of them by 10. So now it would be 11895 divided by 65. 118 divided by 65, it's about 1. 1 times 65 is 65. Subtract equals 53. Bring it down next digit, which is 9. Now 539 divided by 65, it's about 8. 8 times 65 is 520. Now subtract equals 19. Bring it down next digit, 5. So 195 divided by 65, it's about 3. It's a 3. 3 times 65 equals 195. So the answer is 183. Next question, evaluate the expression square of x plus 3x for x 1.7. Here just we have to substitute with the value of x in this expression. So put 1.7 all square plus 3 times 1.7. 1.7 all square, it means 1.7 multiplied itself. So we can multiply 1.7 times 1.7. 7 times 7 equals 49. 9 and k are 4. 7 times 1 equals 7 plus 4 equals 11. Going to 1, put 0. 1 times 7 is 7. 1 times 1 is 1. Now add 9 plus 0 is 9. 1 plus 7 is 8. And 1 plus 1 is 2. We have two decimal places. 1 decimal place here, 1 decimal place here. Supposed to have 2 down. So it's 2.89 plus 3 times 7 is 21. 1 and k up 2. 3 times 1 is 3 plus 2 is 5. So it's a 5.1. Now add both. The answer would be 7.99. And this is the answer. Next question. Evaluate the expression n divided by 5 for n equals 3.2. So substitute like the last example for the value of n, 3.2 divided by 5. Now we can divide this. 3 divided by 5 cannot be, put 0 and point down. Now 32 divided by 5 equals 6. Now 6 times 5 equals 30. So put 0 and 0 down. Now it's 20 divided by 5 equals 4. So the answer is 0.64. Find the expression a divided by 2 plus 1.5 for a equals 14. Now 14 divided by 2 plus 1.5. As we know, order of operation, we have to solve the parentheses first. So 2 plus 1.5, it would be 3.5. So it's 14 divided by 3.5. We cannot divide like this. We have to multiply both of them by 10. So it would be 140 divided 35. 140 divided 35 equals 4. And this is the answer. Next question, evaluate the expression 3x plus x divided by 2 for x equals 0.03. Substitute for the value of x, so it's 3 times 0.03 plus 0.03 divided by 2. 3 times 0.03 equals 0.09 plus 0.03 divided by 2 equals 0.015. So now add, it's 0.105. Next question, solve equations with decimals. As we talked before about equations, in solving equations, we're gonna use the properties of equality and the inverse operations. If we have addition, we're gonna use subtraction. If we have subtraction, we're gonna use addition. If you have multiplication, we're gonna use division. If we have division, we're gonna use multiplication according to properties of equality. For first question, solve the equation y minus 1.02 equals 4.7. Here we have subtraction, so we're gonna add for both sides 1.02. So the equation would be y equals 4.7 plus 1.02. So now we can add these. The answer y would be 5.72. Next question, solve the equation b divided by 5.52 equals 3.5. Here we have division, so we're gonna multiply both sides by 5.52. So p equals 3.5 multiplied by 5.52. Now we can find this. 3.5 times 5.52 equals 19.32. Next question, solve the equation 0.32 y equals 1.952. We have here multiplication, so we're gonna divide both sides by 0.32. So y equals 1.952 divided by 0.32. As we said, we cannot divide with a divisor with decimal places, so we have to multiply both sides by 100. Now it's 195.2 divided by 32. 195.2 divided by 32. 195 divided by 32, it's about 6. 6 times 32 equals 192. Subtract equals 3. Put the point up and now 2 down. Now 32 divided by 32 equals 1. So the answer is 6.1. Y equals 6.1. Next question, solve the equation y plus 0.162 equals 0.55. We have to subtract 0.162 from both sides. So the answer y equals 0.55 minus 0.162. Now subtract this. The answer is 0.388. Next we have prime and composite numbers. Notice that prime number has only two different factors, one and itself, but composite number has at least three different factors. 2 is the only even prime number. That's why, because 2 is a factor for all other even numbers. Complete the prime factorization of 84. 84 equals 7 times 12. 7 is prime but 12 is not. We can factorize 12 into 3 times 4. Now 3 is prime but 4 is not. We can factorize 4 into 2 times 2. So the prime factorization of 84 can be written as square 2 times 3 times 7. Next question. Write the prime factorization of 32. As we know, 32 is 4 times 8. 4 is 2 times 2 and 8 is 2 times 4. Still 4, not prime, so we can factorize it as 2 times 2. So now 32 equals 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, 5 times, or we can say it's 2 with the power 5. Next question. Determine whether each number is prime or not prime and explain. First, 3. As we know, 3 is prime. That's why, because it has only two different factors, 1 and 3. 9 is not prime. That's why, because we can say 9 equals 3 times 3. It has 3 factors. 13 is prime because it has just two different factors, 1 and 13. 23 is prime as well. 33 is not prime. That's why, because it's 3 times 11. 43 is prime. 69 is not prime because it's 3 times 23. Next question. Muhammad says that there are no even prime numbers greater than 2. Is he correct? And explain. Of course, I just said this Yes, he is correct. That's why, because 2 is a factor for all even numbers. So now any even number has at least 3 factors, 3 different factors, 1 in itself and 2. So we can say that's why, because 2 is a factor for all even numbers. Next question, write the prime factorization of 56. As we know, 56 is 8 times 7. 7 is prime, but 8 is not. 8, we can write it as 2 times 4, and 4 is 2 times 2. So we can say 56 equals 2 times 2 times 2 times 7. Or we can say 2 power 3 times 7. Next question. What is the greatest common factor of 12 and 54? 12 can be factorized as 2 times 2 times 3. 54 can be factorized as 2 times 3 times 3 times 3. As we said, the greatest common factor will take 1 from each complete column. So GCF now, greatest common factor, is 2 times 3, which is 6. Next question, use the greatest common factor and distributive property to find the sum of 44 and 52. As we know, the greatest common factor between 44 and 52, we can calculate it's 4. So if we take 4 as common factor, 44 is 11 times 4 and 52 is 13 times 4. Now we can add 11 plus 13 equals 24, so it's 4 times 24, which is 96. Next question. All used CDs are the same price. JC spent $54 and Mimi spent $66 on used CDs. What is the most each used CD could cost? Here he wants me to calculate GCF between 54 and 66. So factorize 54 equals 2 times 3 times 3 times 3. And 66 is 6 times 11, which is 2 times 3 times 11. Now take the common. So GCF is 2 times 3. So the answer is $6. Because 2 times 3 equals 6. Next question. What is the greatest common factor of 18 and 42? 18 equals 2 times 3 times 3. 42 equals 6 times 7, which is 2 times 3 times 7. Now take the common. So GCF is 6. Next question. Least common multiple. Find the least common multiple for 6 and 10. Factorize each of two numbers. 6 equals 2 times 3 and 10 equals 2 times 5. In LCM, we take one digit from each column. So we take 2 and 3 and 5. So LCM equals 2 times 3 times 5 equals 30. Next question, find the least common multiple for 3 and 9. The least common multiple for 3 and 9 is 9. That's why, because 3 equals 3 and 9 equals 3 times 3. Take one from each column. So least common multiple LCM equals 3 times 3 equals 9. Next question. Maya plays tennis only on Fridays. She plays basketball every third day. If Maya plays tennis and basketball on Friday, how many days will be before she plays tennis and basketball again on the same day? We want to find the least common multiple. If she plays only on Fridays, it means each 7 days and every third day. So we have to calculate the LCM between 7 and 3. So now the question is to find LCM between 7 and 3. As we said, 3 is 3 and 7 equals 7. Now least common multiple will take one from each. So LCM equals 3 times 7 equals 21. So the answer is 21 days, or we can say after 3 weeks. Next question. So here we need to calculate the least common multiple between 4 and 7. So the question is least common multiple between 4 and 7. 4, as we said, it's 2 times 2. 7 is 7. Now take 1 from each. So least common multiple equals 2 times 2 times 7, which is 28. So the answer here, the next time, would be at 1028. This is the answer, at 1028. Next question. For a cookout, Nada bought the same number of hot dogs as she did hot dogs buns. Hot dogs come in packages of 8, and buns come in packages of 12. What is the least number of hot dogs and buns that Nada could have bought? Here also, we need to calculate the LCM between 8 and 12. So 8 equals 2 times 2 times 2. 12 equals 2 times 2 times 3. So now LCM will take 1 from each. So it's 2 times 2 times 2 times 3, which is 24. So Nada would buy 24 from each. Thanks for watching. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.